wrote the second draft of my feature screenplay, that's 120 pages, in 6 hours a week over the course of 45 days, while being consistent on YouTube and being a full-time stay-at-home mom of 2 little kids, one of which I'm still nursing. This is how to write a screenplay, and if you have 0 free time, I'm gonna show you exactly how to make time. Hi, if we haven't met, I'm Oriana. I'm a filmmaker, 20 years into the journey, and on this channel I help you get from idea overwhelm to a finished film that you're proud of. First, block your 6 hours a week, and yes, I just illustrated what my circumstances are. They are far from perfect, and I'm not gonna lie, in April when I did this sprint, it was a sprint, and I would not be able to do this every month. First of all, prioritize your art. Take it seriously. So carve out these 6 hours a week, and if it's not a block of 6 hours, that's fine. It can also be 3 blocks of 2 hours. I wouldn't go lower than that, but you can manage that. So just helping you get into the writing, that is one thing that I can give you some ideas of how to do that. So first, you're building your characters, your world, and if you need help with that, I have a character bio that's completely free, and also a workbook that takes you through the whole process from building your strong story idea, creating your characters, and also setting you up for writing your screenplay. Both are linked in the description. Once you've done this initial work of, what is my world of my story, and you have to get back into it, especially if you have only 2 hours to work on it, that is really important to get into it. For me, when I had my first draft almost finished, I actually had a group of actors. We had a table read. I could record this audio, and now when I was writing, I would listen to a piece of it. So for me, that was one way of doing it. Now, if you're saying I haven't got the time or the budget to rehearsals, or I'm not even there yet, okay, bear with me. You can also just have a little writing exercise, which is called automatic writing. And at the beginning of your 2 hours, you set yourself a timer for 3 minutes, and you just write in the perspective of your character. You think of one difficult moment they are having in the story, and you try to write from their perspective. That's one way of getting into character, especially if you want to write dialogue. Now, if you just want to get into the world, maybe read 1 or 2 scenes, not more than that, to get back into, where was I at, or go through your notes, or go through your to-do list. So I really recommend having a to-do list for your project, and having also an outline of sorts. I do have my own system that I'm going to share with you on screen. The first act, which is about 30 pages, where we show the ordinary world, and then him, refusal of the call, and then delving into the adventure, committing into, whatever the whole thing is supposed to be about, whatever the challenge is about. This would be where James Bond accepts his mission, or Ethan Hunt, or whoever, And then Act 2, we have the confrontation, the special world. So for Harry Potter, again, we only really get to meet all the characters in the wizarding world in here. Ron, Hermione, Dumbledore, you get the gist. So that's where you can introduce subplots, new characters, and so on. And I'm not gonna break every point down here, but you get the idea. And for me, it's really helpful to first fill this out, and then this is basically my outline. Tackle that one to do first, and then move on from there. Now, if you're rewriting, first, of course, you have to go through your previous draft and read it all the way through, and put sticky notes with annotations with things you want to change, or you want to eliminate, or you have to resolve, whatever. And only once you're done with that, you can actually start rewriting. It's very important to keep this in the order that I just mentioned, because otherwise you're going to get confused which part did I already rewrite, which part is still the first draft. So for me, having a family and a baby that is with me all the time, I had to find a way to find my time. So what did I do? I just took my first draft with me, printed out everywhere I went for like 2 weeks, and took some sticky notes and a pen. And whenever she took a nap and I was somewhere about and I did not have the older kid with me, I would just sit down and read through it and make annotations and so on. And rewriting is basically the same thing. So when I knew I had like 1.5 hours or 2 hours, I would just sit down and get to it. And why did this work so well? Well, I did have a deadline, which, I'm just the type of person that does work well under a little bit of pressure, not too much, of course, but if you have a deadline, you just know you have to be done by this date. That helped me just prioritize this even more. And whatever you do, you just get through it one by one task after the other. That's the only way. Now, what if you run into problems where you've been thinking over this story problem, this plot hole for weeks? I've been there, and also with this screenplay, there were things in the screenplay where I just couldn't figure the solution out for the life of me. And one thing you can do when that happens is you ask your higher self for guidance. Now, your higher self is part of you, your soul, and that's also science-backed. Don't come at me in the comments for talking about the higher self, because it can actually aid you so much in your whole journey as a human and also in your creative journey. So say out loud the question that you have before going to bed, and then have your notebook and a pen on your nightstand. And it might very well be that you have a dream, or the answer just comes to you during the night or in the morning, or maybe after 2 nights, and this has happened to me, so that's why I can share it works. So what happened when I showed up? I actually got into this positive spiral. Of course, in the beginning, you're questioning everything. Am I good enough? Is there even a point to me writing this? And, we have those inner critics. All of us do. But what sets you apart from someone that actually gets it done, and maybe you're part of that group too, I hope so, is just doing it, not listening to this inner voice that says you're not good enough, don't even bother trying. Because our subconscious mind wants to keep us safe, our brain wants to keep us safe, and if safety means I'm used to not doing anything but just thinking and dreaming about it, then the moment you actually start taking action, that's going to feel unfamiliar and uncomfortable. But that doesn't mean that it's not right. You just have to build a routine, and 6 hours a week, if you can set aside the same 6 hours, same time frame every single week, that helps enormously in just not questioning every time, should I actually sit down and write or not? And now, if you are sitting down to write and you find, I don't have any ideas, just keep with it. Now you also have to have some research for your story world, with some topics more than others. So if there's ever a window of time where you think, I just cannot think of anything creative, then you can also use that time for research on your current story. That's kind of a way out of, I am still being productive, I'm still working on my project, but I just cannot think up any dialogue, or just I don't have any ideas. We all have those moments, and then I would advise you to do some research and also have this on your to-do list, so in the moment you don't get sidetracked. On my phone I have a lot of lists for my project. I have visual ideas, which for me as a director are important, because I'm going to direct this film as well as write it. And then I've got just themes I want to incorporate. I've got the to-do lists, and I've got story aspects where I just fill in the ideas that I have, but I don't know yet where those are going to be fitting into the screenplay, or if at all, but I still write them down. And another thing you can use is the character bio template that I'm linking below. It's free, and you can use this for creating your characters, and also the story workbook that I introduced in the last video, where that takes you from idea overwhelm, from the blank page that we all fear so much, to actually having your story outline ready, so you're all set up for writing your film. So one specific scene that surprised me for my film, I'm not gonna give away too much, but and just having these rehearsal with my actors to listen back to helped me enormously to understand my main character, and also understand, you know, the actress that was playing her at that point. It was just for this table read. Was she actually bringing out things in that character that I didn't want to see? Or was it just her interpretation of it? And so making sure that my main character doesn't come across too one-sided, basically. I cannot break this up into just one scene, but that's just a realization that I've had that I can share that doesn't give away too much. I'm sorry if I'm being vague at this point, but if you keep following my journey, one day I'm gonna share the trailer and I'm gonna share the whole film with you, and you might also have an opportunity to get involved if you wish to do so. Okay, so now it's your turn. Enough watching YouTube videos. Block your calendar for this week, your 6 hours. Where can you allocate those? And if you're thinking, I have every 5 minutes already locked up, okay, check your phone analytics, check your time on Instagram, on TikTok, all the social media apps you use, and look at the number and just be real with yourself. It's not about judgment, it's about, can I cut this down, or is this serving me? Is it serving me if instead of creating, I spend hours, half an hour a day, scrolling on TikTok? I'm not judging you, I'm just speaking from experience. I myself have not used Instagram in a consumer way for months. I'm being pretty disciplined with myself, and I just know that myself 2 years from now is gonna thank me for prioritizing my own happiness, my own art, because that's what being productive means. It means being creative, doing something that nourishes you. And if that's filmmaking, then you're on the right channel. Because the same is true for me. Thank you for being here, and as I said before, check out the workbook and the free character bio template. They are linked in the description. And check out my 180 days challenge next if you are up for it. Thank you for being here. Until the next one. Bye. Now get to work.